Today I will teach you DNA replication in prokaryotes. First of all, I want to tell you what is the importance of DNA replication. You know that DNA replication is very important for growth as well as for reproduction. And you know there are two types of cell division. One is mitosis. What is mitosis? One cell divides in two daughter cells and the chromosome numbers will be same in the daughter cells as that of the parent cell. Suppose in human there are 2n is equal to 46 number of the chromosome. Mitosis, in the mitosis, a mitotic cell division, it will divide into daughter cells and the chromosome number will be 46, 46, 46, 46. How it is possible? As you know that the 46 number can't be divided into 46, 46. Same like meiosis. In the meiotic division, what happens if the chromosome number is 46? It will produce 4 daughter cells and the chromosome numbers will be half among the daughter cells as that of the parent cell. Then n is equal to 23, n is equal to 23, n is equal to 23, n is equal to 23. It is meiotic division. One cell divides in 4 daughter cells. One cell, 4 daughter cells, the chromosome number will be half in the daughter cells as compared with the parent cell. You see here, the number is 92, its number should be 92, then it is possible to division of 23, 23, 23, 23. It is only possible because there is a interphase stage, 2n equal to 46, and this interphase stage there is a DNA replication. DNA replication. Replication means making the identical copies. There is the one chromosome. Each chromosome has, after replication, each chromosome there is the duplication, replication, and there are the 2 chromatids. The number of chromatids, will be 92. After division, these chromatids, they are called the chromosomes. So you say here the number of threads, number of the chromosomes is actually 92 because of the DNA replication. If there is no replication, no cell division. So cell division, DNA replication is responsible for the importance of the DNA replication is for growth as well as for reproduction. As like here, if the cell 2n equal to 46, after replication, this will be actually doubling of the chromosome. Each chromosome will have the 2 chromatids. The number of these chromatids, chromatid word is used only during cell division. After cell division, they are the chromosome. Then you can say that there is the double number of the chromosome, so that it is possible 23, 23, 23. So DNA replication is very important process, phenomena of the biological system. I will tell you what is DNA replication. DNA replication means making the identical copies. It is a process. Little difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. In this video, I will cover only DNA replication in prokaryotes. First of all, what is the mode of replication? Mode of replication. Mode of replication. You have to remember that semi-conservative, semi-discontinuous, and bidirectional mode of replication. You will be surprised that how there are 3 modes of replication. As the base of the division is different. It is based on the different classification. Just when I say that in the class there are 2 types of the students, one is boys and girls. I may say that there are different type of the students of the different states. Some from the UP, some from the Bihar, some from the South. So the division, the basis of the division is different. I will discuss you later on. First of mode of replication is the semi-conservative. There were three proposals of the mode of replication: conservative mode of replication, semi-conservative mode of replication, and dispersive mode of replication. Dispersive mode of replication. In the conservative mode of replication, those scientists, they were in belief of conservative mode of replication. They believe that there is no, this is the DNA double helix, this structure is conserved. There is no disturbance of this structure of the double helix. So the new strand in the next generation, the new strand will be produced by the conserving these structure, and the new structure will be produced. In the next generation, one cell, one DNA double helix will produce two. So what is the mode of replication? That the structure will be conserved. Both strand will be, there is no separation. And suppose in the next generation, one will produce two. This is one, old one, this is new one. So one will produce two new, suppose this is the two. Again, in the next generation, third generation, this is the first generation, this is the second generation, and in the third generation, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So one will produce one old, one new. This will produce two. Again, this will produce two. This will produce two. This old structure. Why I am drawing like this? Because I want to tell you that according to this phenomena, this structure will not be disturbed forever. This is the conservative mode of replication. Semi-conservative mode of replication proposed by Watson and Crick, 1953, who gave the DNA double helix model. According to this mode of replication, these two strands first there, because these strands are complementary. You know that. This is the A, T, C, G, and this will be A will pair always T will pair always A, C with the G with the C. So these strands are complementary. So proposing the complementary strands, suddenly he proposed that it means that DNA replication is possible because both the strands will be separated and the complementary strands is synthesized. It is very, very easy to synthesize the complementary strand because these nitrogen bases present on this strand, they will decide that what is the sequence of the nitrogen bases of the other strand. This is why it is known as semi-conservative? Half strand is conserved. Out of two, half is conserved, and one is new. So it is known as semi-conservative mode of replication. Again, these in the second, this is the first generation. In the second generation, old one will be separated, new will be separated, old will be separated, new will be separated, and again each one will synthesize a new DNA strand. Again you see here in the third generation, these two will be separated, these two will be separated, these two will be separated, and these two will be separated. And a new strand, complementary strand, will be synthesized. Complementary strand will be synthesized. Dispersive mode of replication. According to this system, this process which was proposed by a few of the scientists, that first of all, DNA strand is fragmented, is broken into the small pieces. This is the DNA. This is a hypothesis. According to this hypothesis, DNA are fragmented and each fragment is synthesized in new strand, small fragments, and old, new, old, new, old, old, new, old, new, old, new, old, new, old, old, new, old, new, old, old. So 1 will produce 2 and 2 will produce 4. Two will produce 4. Again 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7, 8. 8, old one, old, old, new, old, new, old, new, old, new, old, 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 new, old. There were 3 types of the proposals regarding the mode of replication. First is the conservative, semi-conservative, dispersive. Conservative means the double helix DNA will be conserved forever. Semi-conservative half strand, one of the strand is conserved. It means that any of the DNA will have one old strand, one new strand. In the dispersive, any of the new strand will be formed by the old fragment, new fragment, old fragment, new fragment. Regarding this semi-conservative mode of replication, one experiment was conducted by Michelson and Stahl in 1950. They actually labeled Escherichia coli with 15N. 15N, it is a isotope of nitrogen. It is a heavy nitrogen because isotopes are the molecular weight will be more than the normal one. Isotopes, you know that isotope, they emits the radiation and they use for localizing the biomolecule through autoradiography. Autoradiography means you have to take the X-ray film of any labeled organism, then you will see that where is the isotopes are there, they will sign. When you take the film of X-ray in the dark, then this will sign. The presence of any biomolecule can be localized through autoradiography if the particular organism is labeled. So nitrogen, isotope of the nitrogen is 15N. How to label Escherichia coli with the nitrogen? To grow the Escherichia coli for many of the generations. For say, if the Escherichia coli is grown in a medium where only 15N is there in a medium, it is grown for 14 generation, then the new Escherichia coli after 14 generation, all the normal nitrogen will be replaced by 15N. So nitrogen, you know that adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine, there is nitrogen. Then all the nitrogen will be replaced by 15N. You can identify through autoradiograph. But what they did, labeled the Escherichia coli 15N. This was the labeled in the first generation. It was the labeled Escherichia coli. In the cesium chloride ultracentrifugation, density gradient ultracentrifugation in the test tube, when with this Escherichia coli, this nitrogen, if it is rotated by for 50,000 RPM for 48 to 72 hours, then a particular band, because you know that a band, a similar molecule will collect at a specific position. If a band was, because the 15N is heavy, so it will lie towards the bottom, and this is the 14N. It was tested that this is the position of 14N. It was very, this density of this 15N was 1.724 gram per centimeter cube, and 14N, this 15N, the weight of this 15N was 1.724 gram centimeter cube, and 14N was 1.171 gram per centimeter cube. There is a very slight difference, but this slight difference can be observed when it was rotated for 48 to 72 hours with the speed of 50,000 rpm. This system, this is known as ultracentrifugation density gradient. Say in the cesium chloride, in the solution was cesium chloride. What was the experiment? When this experiment was conducted, at this level, one band was appeared. When this Escherichia coli was grown in a normal medium, normal medium means there is normal nitrogen 14N. It was all the DNA, this DNA is labeled DNA, this is 15N DNA. All the normal nitrogen had been replaced by 15N. So all the nitrogen, they will form a band at this position. But this Escherichia coli, when it was grown in a normal medium, means the new strand will be from the normal nitrogen. So what happens in the second generation, in the first generation, after growing in the normal medium, an intermediate band was appeared. One band was appeared. In the second generation, one band was in the middle means 15N and 14N, middle. One band was in the middle, and one band was appeared at the position where assigned for 14N. In the third generation, one band was in the middle, but the one band was, this is wider, the width was more than as compared with this. Two bands were appeared, but the width of this band was more as compared with the earlier one. It means that there is no, if you suppose, if the mode of replication is conservative, then one band should always be present of 15N. But there is the chances of two different bands, one of the 15N, one of the 14N. But no, only one band was appeared. In this, and it was in the middle. It means that it was rejected. According to hypothesis, there should be the presence of the two bands. One of the 15N, one of the 14N, but no, it was not possible. Only one band which was present in the middle of the test tube. And it is possible only because of semi-conservative mode of replication. The molecular weight of these two DNA, they will be the same. And they will be present in the middle. But it is also possible here, because the molecular weight of these two will be the same and they will lie on the middle. So there is a confusion whether it is a semi-conservative, whether it is a dispersive. But you see here, in all the next generation, the molecular weight will be same. Then one band should be appeared, but there are two bands. here. In the third generation, when Escherichia coli was used, density gradient centrifugation, then there were two bands. But this band was this wider than as compared with the other one. The two bands were appeared in the second generation, two bands were appeared in the third generation. But neither of the band was there. Neither of the band. In any of no generation, this band was appeared. It means that it is conservative is rejected. If the conservative is there, it means that 1 and 15 band should be there, but there was no band was appeared at the position of N15. It means that the conservative mode of replication is rejected. Semi-conservative mode of replication you see here. In this generation, there is a band was present in the middle. It proves the semi-conservative mode of replication because of the molecular weight of this strand, this DNA and this DNA will be the same, and this is the middle average of N15 and 14, they will lie in the middle. But again, if the dispersive is the mode of replication, again they will lie in the middle. So there is the confusion whether the mode of replication is semi-conservative and dispersive. But this same dispersive, if the mode of replication is dispersive, then there is the equal weight of all the DNA. Equal weight of all the DNA will be there. So one band will be appear. There will be no two band. But in the semi-conservative mode of replication, these band, the average of N15 and 14, these two band, average of the N15 and 14, and these two band, they are purely N14. The two equal band, they will be present at the one position, they will join together because the molecular weight there they will be N14. So the two bands equal width is proof that mode of replication is semi-conservative. It is confirmed also in there, so that two bands they are, this is the 1 2 1 1 2 1 2 1 2. This is the one old and one new. One old and one new. So these two bands, they will be the average weight of N15 and 14, and the number of N14 type of the DNA is increasing, so they will increase the width of the N14 normal nitrogen. So finally it has been proved that the mode of replication is semi-conservative. It was proposed by Watson and Crick, but it was proved by Michelson and Stahl in 1958. Then what is the basis of mode of replication? Basis of mode of replication is whether these two strands, they are conjured or they are separated. On this basis the mode of replication is semi. Next mode of replication is bidirectional mode of replication. The first main enzyme, that enzyme which was responsible for DNA replication, was reported DNA polymerase first. Now we know that DNA polymerase first is actually for repair, not for main enzyme. Main enzyme is in the prokaryotes, it is DNA polymerase third. The first enzyme in 1959 by Arthur Korenberg, DNA polymerase first. And DNA polymerase first synthesizes the new strand only in the 5 to 3 direction. 5 to 3 direction. And you know that DNA there is opposite polarity. 5 to 3, one strand, other strand will be 3 to 5. I have already explained during the chapter for the DNA. This is 5 position, this is the 3 position. There is the linkage of phosphodiester bond. This phosphorus, this is adenine, suppose this is guanine, and by the second strand will be like that, second strand like that, G will pair with the C, A will pair with the T, by 2 hydrogen bond, by 3 hydrogen bond, there is the third position will be there in 5 position. So one strand start from 5 to 3, other strand will start from 3 to 5. This is opposite polarity. Then in this condition, if the DNA polymerase main enzyme which synthesizes in only this direction 5 to 3 direction, then how it is possible 5 to 3, 5 to 3 in one direction? It is not possible. The question is whether the movement of the DNA polymerase in one direction, unidirectional, or in both the direction, it is bidirectional. Then J. Cairns, in 1963, when it was Escherichia coli was labeled with 3H thymidine. 3H thymidine. 3H is an isotope of hydrogen. It is known as tritium. Tritium is an isotope of hydrogen. It is known as tritiated Escherichia coli. Tritiated thymidine is Escherichia coli. When it was labeled and autoradiograph was prepared, then it was like that. You know that Escherichia coli it is a bacteria, has a circular DNA, then circular DNA, it is a circular DNA. Then at its specific position, this is the two DNA strands, at a specific position, there is this is known as origin point. Origin point, and it is ORIC. Origin of coli, Escherichia coli. ORIC, this place is very fixed position. And one ORIC will be present in the one replicon. What is replicon? Unit of replication. Unit of replication is known as replicon. Replicon was given by Jacob and Brenner. In 1963. Unit of replication. In Escherichia coli, total chromosome is replicated once and it has the one origin point, the one replication. In our human cell, there are thousands of the origin point. And replicon, this is the one replicon, this is the second replicon. One replicon, it is independent with this replicon. The replicon means the unit of DNA, one unit that is independent for replication, independent with the other DNA strand for replication is known as replicon. One replicon will have one origin, but in Escherichia coli there is only one origin and whole of the chromosome is the one replicon. In growing cell, this DNA, this type of the structure was observed. This type of the structure. After few minutes, this type of the structure. Autoradiograph showed that there is an origin point, it is a fixed point, it is an AT rich region. Theta, it is known as theta. The structure was theta type and then the structure was Y-shaped. It means that at both of the fork, it is fork, this is the fork number 1, fork number 2, at both of the fork there is a chances of replication. It means that the replication moved bidirectionally. But more proper, more convincing evidence was given by Sknoz and Inman. More convincing experiment was proposed by, result was given by Sknoz and Inman in 1970. And Inman 1970 with the virus, polyphage T7. This is a linear DNA. Linear DNA. Under electron microscope, I-type structure was observed. I-type structure was observed, and it is supposed that it is the origin point. But this I-type structure was observed near one of the end. In the next, after few minutes, it was observed that there is a Y-type structure. There is a Y-type structure of the DNA. This Y-type structure proved that the mode of replication is bidirectional. Because if the replication is going on towards this direction, then it is completed. When the replication is completed, then it means that there is sudden movement of the enzymes for replication of this end. It means that the replication is bidirectional. Then I shape, always you feel that I shape and Y shape, it proved that there is a bidirectional DNA replication, because Y-shaped means if DNA replication has completed at the one end, then DNA replication will complete to the other end. It means that it is only possible if the replication is going on bidirectionally. Next, semi-discontinuous mode of replication. Then what is the basis of this mode of replication? Basis is whether the polymerization, that is the replication, moves bidirectionally or unidirectionally. There are some examples. Unidirectional DNA replication in mitochondria, plastic and P2, polyphase P2, virus, polyphase. There are few examples where unidirectional DNA replication is there, but 99% the cases are of this support bidirectional mode of replication. The first mode of replication was semi-conservative mode of replication. The basis was whether the strands are conserved or there is any change of the strand. Then it has been proved that semi-conservative is the mode of replication. Each of the DNA, one is the old strand, other is the new strand. Half is conserved, so it is semi-conservative. Second mode of replication is bidirectional, whether the replication moves one direction or two direction. In the 99% cases, bidirectional replication is there, but the few examples of unidirectional is also there. One is semi-discontinuous. Semi-discontinuous mode of replication. Question is, there are two strands, 3 to 5 and 5 to 3. DNA polymerase, main enzyme for replication, DNA polymerase, third, moves always 5 to 3 direction. Then second strand 5 to 3, this is 5 to 3 direction, 5 to 3 direction. This movement is the continuous, it is continuous. But how it is possible to this strand 5 to 3 direction? So what happens? It is 5 to 3, it will be 5 this direction, it will move in this direction. I will tell you, it is synthesized in a small fragments. The first time, semi-discontinuous. Neither it is continuous replication, neither is it discontinuous replication. It is semi-discontinuous. I will tell you later on that one strand, replication of the one strand is continuous, other strand is discontinuous. So it is known as semi-discontinuous mode of replication. It was given by Okazaki. He was the Japanese scientist, and he proved in the Escherichia coli, normal Escherichia coli, It was grown in a medium containing 3S thymidine. In a medium. And the DNA was isolated and DNA was centrifuged, and the centrifuge, there were the two strands, one was the larger strand, other was there, the small fragment was present in the band. It shows that there are two strands differently, acts differently. Synthesis of the one strand was continuous, other strand was discontinuous, and these small fragments, they are known as Okazaki fragments. Okazaki fragments. So remember that. What is the mode of replication? Semi-discontinuous. The basis of this classification is, I have told you, 3 mode of replication, but the basis of this classification is different for each one. Whether the replication is continuous or discontinuous. So neither continuous, neither discontinuous, it is semi-discontinuous, because one strand replicates continuously, other strand discontinuously in the fragment. Small fragments were synthesized, hence it is known as semi-discontinuous, and the small fragments are known as Okazaki fragments, honoring the scientist who discovered this mode of replication, Okazaki. It is Japanese scientist. Now I will tell you how many enzymes and proteins which are responsible for DNA replication. Enzymes, proteins during DNA replication. The first enzyme is DNA. DNA is a protein which binds DNA box and responsible for origin point, ORIC. Second is helicase enzyme. It is known as DNAB. DNAB is a protein. DNA is a protein coded by DNA gene. Coded by DNAB gene. But this is a protein DNA. Actually it is helicase. It is a hexamer. 6 molecules are there, 6 proteins are there which form the helicase, and they are associated with, they breaks the hydrogen bond, break hydrogen bonds between nitrogen bases. Means the main enzyme that is responsible for separation of the DNA strands. Second, Girage. Girage enzyme is responsible for relaxing supercoiling. Relaxing supercoiling. It is in the group of topoisomerase second. In the group of topoisomerase second. I will tell you later on. What is the supercoiling? This is the bacterial DNA. But in this state it will not be present. It is, suppose this is a one thread. Then this will be supercoiled. This will be supercoiled. This is supercoiling. Our DNA, this is the DNA, but this is the longer. Then you will find very shorter, and during metaphase, anaphase, you will find very shortest DNA, because it is supercoiled. This length will be like this. This is supercoiling. So when this origin point, if it is separated, the DNA strand, when this is the DNA, and if it is separated by helicase enzyme, it is separated, then this will create the stress, more stress towards this point, and then this stress will be released by Girase enzyme. Girase is of two types, Girase A and Girase B. Girase B. Girase A cuts and joins, and Girase B ATP hydrolysis, provide energy. Girase B. Next enzyme is DNA polymerase. In between, primase. Fourth is primase. Primase enzyme. Primase synthesize RNA primers. RNA primers, very small fragment, 10 to 15 base pair long. This is actually, primase is actually a RNA polymerase enzyme. Because it synthesizes RNA, short RNA primer, short fragments of the RNA, that is 10 to 15 base pair. It is required for the activation of DNA polymerase. SSB2 as a single strand binding protein, which binding proteins, SSB protein, single strand binding protein. Once the DNA strands are, this is the DNA strand, are separated, then single strand binding protein binds the strand and make it single stranded. This is the single strand binding protein. DNA polymerase enzyme. DNA polymerase is the main enzyme, but it is of 5 types. It is of many types. In eukaryotes, it is alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, like this. But in prokaryotes, it is first, second, and third, fourth, and fifth. This is also known as Korenberg enzyme, because Arthur Korenberg, who got the Nobel Prize for the discovery of DNA polymerase first. DNA polymerase first is known as Korenberg enzyme because it was discovered by Arthur Korenberg in 1965, 67, and in the 69 it was Nobel Prize was awarded to Arthur Korenberg for the discovery of. This was the main, it was supposed to be the main enzyme for application, but now you know that it is the repair enzyme. And the main function is the repair. This is when the proteases is used, when trypsin protease which digests, which breaks the protein, trypsin, for example, trypsin is used. It breaks the DNA polymerase. It split the DNA polymerase first into 2 parts. One is the larger part, it's about 68 kilodalton and 35 kilodalton. 2 fragments are there. 2 fragments. The first larger fragment is known as Klenow fragment. Klenow fragment. It is larger fragment. Klenow fragment has ability to synthesize 5 to 3 polymerization and 3 to 5 exonuclease. Exonuclease means digest DNA. Exonuclease, polymerization means synthesizes new strand. So larger fragment has a two ability. One is the polymerase system, polymerization, and other is the exonuclease. But the shorter fragment has a unique 5 to 3. This is the unique ability of this shorter fragment is exonuclease. DNA polymerase is the single polymerase, a unique polymerase, which has two different exonuclease system. Exonuclease 3 to 5 and 5 to 3. 3 to 5 and 5 to 3. One polymerize 5 to 3. But this is the unique system, 5 to 3 exonuclease. And you will remember that, you should remember that this DNA polymerase first is used for nick translation. One point you have to remember, that nick translation. What is nick translation? Anyone can insert a small fragment of the DNA into any DNA piece. This is the DNA. This is the DNA. You want to incorporate radio-labeled nitrogen bases at this position. You will use DNA polymerase first. DNA polymerase first will create a nick, cut and digest the fragment 5 to 3 and digest 5 to 3 and synthesize your desired fragment at this level. So this is known as nick translation. Desired fragment can be inserted in any of the genome using the nick translation, using the DNA polymerase first system. Using the proteases means which digest protein, proteases. But because the DNA polymerase is an enzyme means protein. The protein can be digested by using proteases. The trypsin is one of the proteases. When you use the trypsin, and another example is sertraline, but trypsin, when you use trypsin or any other protease enzyme, it breaks into two parts. One is the larger part. Larger part is known as clean out fragment, and other is the shorter fragment. Clean out fragment has the two ability, 5 to 3 polymerization, 3 to 5 exonuclease system, and shorter fragment has 5 to 3 exonuclease. So it is a unique because of that. This is a unique ability. Why unique ability? Because always all the enzymes, they have exonuclease from 3 to 5. But it has ability to digest the DNA from 5 to 3 system, 5 to 3 direction. So this is the unique. You will not find in any enzyme 5 to 3 exonuclease. 5 to 3 polymerization is a common phenomenon. 3 to 5 exonuclease is a common phenomenon. But 5 to 3 exonuclease is a unique phenomenon, only with the DNA polymerase first. DNA polymerase second is a repair enzyme. It will not be used in this system. Only during replication, DNA polymerase third. DNA polymerase. This is the main enzyme. For polymerization, for synthesis of new strand in the direction of 5 to 3. So 5 to 3 polymerization and 3 to 5 exonuclease. This exonuclease system is used for mismatching, to digest, to remove the mismatching of the nitrogen bases. This is your DNA. A, T, T, C, G, G, C. T will be synthesized, A will be synthesized, A will be synthesized, G will C. Suppose Here it should be C, but by mistake, if there is A, then this 3 to 5 exonuclease is a proofreader. Proofreading. This will proofreading, and it will remove, and again DNA polymerase synthesizes the proper nitrogen base, complementary nitrogen base, and again it will be synthesized. So this is the fidelity. Fidelity means highly purity, maintaining the true copy, identical copy. There is very less chances of the error, only because of the system that there is a proofreader. Proofreading ability is there, 3 to 5 direction. And 5 to 3, polymerization means synthesis. The two DNA polymerase enzymes, they participate during replication. DNA polymerase first, I will tell you later on what is the role of DNA polymerase first, and second is DNA polymerase third. Next is ligase enzyme. In this system, it is used the energy from NADH from this ligase enzyme, because it ligates the two DNA fragments. It joins the two fragments, Okazaki fragments. It is joined by this ligase enzyme. So I will tell you later on. Main enzyme is, you have to remember, main enzyme is DNA polymerase third. Polymerase third is the main enzyme in prokaryotes. In eukaryotes, the main enzyme is delta and epsilon. For two strand, there are two strands. One strand, I will tell you later on. One is called leading, other is lagging. For leading, different, lagging, different enzymes are in eukaryotes. But in prokaryotes, both the strands are synthesized by DNA polymerase third. It is also called holo enzyme. Holo. What is the meaning of holo enzyme? There are a group of proteins which perform differently, and jointly they are called holo enzyme. The holo enzyme means there are the group of enzymes, group of proteins, they participate for DNA replication as a one unit. This is known as holo enzyme. There are 10 different proteins. 10 different proteins, enzymes are there. There are two strands. One is the leading, other is the lagging. I will tell you later on. One is the alpha. Alpha. This is the main enzyme for polymerization. Alpha polymerization. Main enzyme alpha. One is small epsilon. Epsilon. This is exonuclease activity from 3 to 5. 3 to 5. And theta, it is known as theta, activate epsilon. And this is the main core enzyme. There are two strands. This is for leading, another for lagging strand, alpha, epsilon, and theta. Alpha core enzyme means it is a core enzyme. Core enzyme consists of alpha, epsilon, and theta. These two, they are simultaneously, these two dimers, they are maintained by a tau. So tau maintains the dimerization of these two units. Tau. This is known as tau. Dimerization of core enzymes. There are two fragments, DNA two fragments, and both are synthesized simultaneously but bidirectionally. I will tell you. And semi-discontinuous, I will tell you. Semi-conservative mode of replication, bidirectional mode of replication, and semi-discontinuous mode of replication. All the three systems will be performed simultaneously. There are two strands. One strand for leading. This is the beta dimer. Beta, it is a clamp slider. It is a beta. It is known as beta. They provide clamp slider. Clamps, 2 units of the beta. They provide clamp slider for leading. Strand. This is clamp slider. Beta. This is beta. For lagging strand, it is all for lagging strand. I will tell you, 3 to 5 is known as leading strand, and 5 to 3 it is known as lagging strand. It leads because direction is 5. It will be new strand will be 5 to 3. Direction will be continuous. It will lead the replication. But it will not lead. It will lagging behind. After the replication, after few time of the replication, if it is started, then the lagging strand replication is started on lagging strand. So it is lagging strand. So lagging strand requires 5 more other proteins. 5 other more proteins: gamma, chi, psi, delta, and delta prime. These 5 proteins, gamma complex. This is gamma, chi, this is psi, psi, this is delta, and this is delta prime. These 5 proteins, they are attached with the lagging strand beta clamp. They are gamma complex. They are known as gamma complex. So gamma complex, they help once it is attached with the strand, polymerization will go on. There is no breakage. But you will see that in the lagging strand, there is the association, dissociation is going on of the beta clamp. That association-dissociation system is the extra activity. This has to be performed with the lagging strand. So there are need of the 5 different proteins. So how many proteins are there? 10 proteins. Alpha, epsilon, theta, tau, beta. These are 5 and 5 gamma complex. So 10 proteins, they form DNA polymerase third enzyme, main enzyme. Okay. There are 3 steps for the DNA replication. Steps of DNA replication. First, initiation. Second, elongation. And third, for initiation, what happens? This is Escherichia coli. First, origin point. This is the ORC, origin point. What is the structure of origin? point OREC, this is about 145 base pair length of the OREC. OREC. Remember, 145 base pair length of this OREC point. It is consensus sequences. It will be found in all the bacteria. Escherichia coli bacteria, all the strains of the bacteria. This is the 145 length of the origin point, OEC. In 145, there are two type of the repeats. Repeats is very common. Repeats mean a fragment that is present in many copies. This is the repeats. A fixed sequences, consensus sequences. It is present in the many copies. It is repeats. So there are two type of the repeats. 9-mer, 3 and 4, and 13-mer. You see, 9-mer means with the 9 base pair sequences of 4 copies, and 13-mer means 13 base pair of 3 copies. They are the main constituents of this OREC. 9-mer will be, for 9-mer, this is the T, T, A, T, N, C, A, N, A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What is the meaning of N? N means any of the nucleotides. Any of nucleotide. It may be A, it may be C, it may be G, it may be T. N and N. But these are the fixed. T, T, A, T, C, A, is the fixed 9-mer. 13-mer, the sequence of the 13-mer is GATC. Very, very important. You have to remember GATC. I will tell you. T, N, T, T, N, T, 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 T. You see here, mostly AT rich. Why AT rich? This is the origin point, because there are only 2 hydrogen bonds. Then separation of AT is very, very easy. Helicase enzyme utilizing a small energy, and it will separate. So AT rich, easily they are separated. So this is 13-mer. GATC is very, very important. It is palindromes. Palindromes means the second strand, on the second strand, G will pair with the C, A pair with the T, T pair with the A, and C pair with the G. You can read GATC, you can read GATC. This is known as palindrome sequences. The pronunciation of the both of the strands will be same. You will not find any other way. Suppose I write ATCG, then it will be TAGC. ATCG will not be ATCG. So palindromes means you will read GATC, you will read GATC. This is known as palindrome sequencing. GATC is very, very important. Why it is very, very important? Because it has been observed that GATC, A is methylated, DAM methylase. It methylate the adenine. How? You see here. This is adenine structure. Nitrogen, amino group, NH2. This is adenine. DAM methylase is an enzyme. DAM methylase, it add the methyl group at 6th position of the nitrogen. Remember, at 6th position of the nitrogen present in the adenine, it will be methyl group will be added like this. NHCH3. Valency of N is 3. So 1 H and 2, 3. There is valency 3, H2 and 1, 3. So valency of 3 will be maintained by NH and CH3. At the sixth, it is the sixth position. This is the first position of, remember that I have already told you in the nucleic acid chapter. First position, second position, third position, fourth position, fifth position, sixth position, seventh, eighth, ninth position. So at the sixth position, methyl group is added by DNA parmethylation. If there are two DNA strands, you see here, this is methylated. I have told you, out of 13 mer, this first 4 nitrogen base is very, very important, because A is methylated by dimethylase enzyme. This is the second strand, first strand, second strand, G, A, T, C, A is methylated. This is known as fully methylated. Fully methylated. Fully. Remember, this is called regulation of DNA replication. You remember, if both of the adenine are methylated, then the cell will proceed for DNA replication. But after replication, this one strand will be old strand. A is methylated. Other strand will be new. It is not methylated. One is the old. It is methyl. A is the methylated. Other is the new. This is the new. It is not methylated. This is known as partially half methylated. So partially means fully methylated will go for replication. It will produce partially methylated and partially methylated, because each of the new DNA, one strand will be old, other will be new. One will be old, other will be new. Then partially methylated, this DNA will not go for replication unless again there is a methylation process will start for A. When A is methylated, then this fully methylated cell DNA will go for DNA replication. This is known as regulation of DNA replication. If this GATC is the part of 13 mer. So GATC is very, very important. It regulates the DNA replication by methylation. Only A is methylated. If both of the strands of adenine are methylated, then this DNA will proceed for DNA replication. Nine mer, 4 copies, 9 mer, DNA A box. Because DNA A protein bind to DNA A box. What happens? You see here, this is nine mer, and one of the 9 mer is nearby adjacent to the 13 mer. This is 13 mer, and 3 copies of the 13 mer. And DNA A binds. This is DNA A protein which binds. Due to this, pressure is created, and due to pressure there is a loop is formed. This origin, this bubble, it is known as bubble. this bubble is formed. This origin, there is a melting. So melting of DNA of 13-mer. So 13-mer, this is 13-mer. 13-mer of 3 copies. They form a bubble, and this is the origin point. This will create a origin. So your initiation. Then what is the initiation? First of all, and DNA it is known as cis sequenced. Cis element. Yes, cis element. Cis element. What is cis element? Cis sequences means DNA protein are synthesized by the genes present nearby. If the protein interact nearby genes, bind nearby genes, these proteins are called, these segments is called cis element. Cis element because DNA box and DNA A protein synthesizing genes, they are present nearby. If trans element, if the protein is synthesized by the a segment present in the far away and binds to the other DNA segment, it is known as cis element, trans element. And cis element means DNA A gene is present here, DNA A protein is synthesized, DNA A protein is synthesized by nearby genes and binds this is cis element. So cis element, the first of all, initiation. Under the initiation, the first step is creation of the bubble, origin point. First, DNA A binds ODC. First step. Second step, it is a bubble is created. Second, helicase enzyme. Helicase enzyme is loaded on, remember, lagging strand 3 to 5. This is 5 to 3. This is 5 to 3. Suppose you start here at this point, then helicase enzyme. This is the lagging strand. This is the helicase enzyme. With the help of DNA-C protein. Because helicase is the DNA-B. So helicase enzyme is loaded on the lagging strand. Always remember, on the lagging strand, and it moves from 5 to 3 direction. Third step is primase enzyme. Primase enzyme synthesizes RNA primers. You see here, this is the 5 to 3 direction. Suppose I will discuss at this point 5 to 3 direction. This is the lagging strand, 3 to 5. I will tell you by like this. Both the direction, replication will proceed bidirectionally. This will be 3 to 5. This is leading strand. 3 to 5, leading strand, sorry. This is, I will tell you 5 to 3, lagging strand. It is correct. Lagging strand. I will discuss at this fork number 1, fork number 2. The same system, all the enzymes will be loaded at this position, and the same enzyme will be loaded at this position. The replication proceeds to this direction as well as this direction. So there is bidirectional DNA replication. So I will discuss you like this. Five to three and 3 to 5. One fork. I will discuss with one fork, and same system will go on with the other. There is the helical enzyme. This is 5 to 3. This is lagging strand. Leading strand. Leading strand. Helical enzyme. Helical enzyme is a hexamer. You may draw like that, 1 molecule, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that, hexamer. It will move from 5 to 3. It will move from 5 to 3, like this. DNA, next. Primase enzyme. Before that, I will miss one thing here, no problem. Single strand binding protein binds both of the strand. It is tetramer. Single strand binding protein, and make it single stranded. Make it single stranded. The next step is single stranded binding protein, and make it single stranded. Next enzyme is primase enzyme. Synthesizes RNA primers 5 to 3. Short 5 to 3. Primase enzyme. This is RNA primer. So remember, there are two strands, one is the leading, other is the lagging. Remember, leading is from 3 to 5 and lagging is from 5 to 3. Lagging is from 5 to 3. It is from, remember, 5 to 3 direction. It is lagging strand. Primase, why it is called leading? Because replication starts with the leading strand. This is primase enzyme, synthesizes a small fragment of the RNA primer. RNA primer, because RNA primer is nucleic acid, so the 3OH should be free, which activate DNA polymerase III. 3OH is free, means this is a DNA, this is a DNA 3, this is a DNA strand, this is 5, phosphodiester bond. This 3OH, it should be free to join DNA polymerase. So the RNA primers, there is 3OH, this position is 3OH. This will facilitate to join the core enzyme alpha, epsilon and theta, DNA polymerase III. DNA polymerase III will join here and it will synthesize new strand from 5 to 3 direction. But what happens with the lagging strand? Lagging strand, because synthesis, DNA polymerase always synthesize 5 to 3 direction. So 5 to 3 direction will be like that, 5 to 3 direction. This will be 3, new strand. It is 5, opposite polarity, it is 5, it is 3. Then what happens? DNA polymerase synthesizes RNA primers DNA polymerase joins here and it will synthesize up to this level, up to 5 to 3. This is Okazaki fragments. At this level, then helicase moves and break the hydrogen bond, and due to its movement, there is a pressure is created. Because when it will move, there is the pressure is created. And to release supercoiling, it is supercoiling. So pressure is created. This pressure will be released by Girage enzyme. Then primase enzyme. Then DNA polymerase third. I have told you. Polymerase third joins and synthesizes. Primase will synthesize at both of the strand, leading and lagging. DNA polymerase synthesizes. Helicase moves forward, and due to this movement, pressure is created. This pressure will be released by Girage enzyme. The next, and this is the process is known as elongation. DNA attachment of the DNA polymerase, it is known as initiation. Under initiation, DNA A binds DNA A box, replication bubble is created, helicase is loaded, SSB proteins are loaded, primase enzyme is loaded, primase synthesizes RNA primers, and RNA primers will activate DNA polymerase. Till now it is known as initiation. Now it is elongation. I have told you 3 steps are there: initiation, elongation and termination. This is elongation. Elongation starts when DNA polymerase moves. This is elongation. Synthesis of the new strand. DNA polymerase, a primase enzyme again synthesize at the end of the fork and towards this end. DNA polymerase again activate primase enzyme, synthesize RNA primers, activate DNA polymerase third, and DNA polymerase third a small fragment. When helicase moves forward, then there is pressure is created. This pressure is released by Girage enzyme. Then Girage enzyme. Girage, it is of 2 types. Girase A and Girase B. Girase A cuts and joins both the strands. Always remember, in many of the books it is written single strand, but I say that because it belongs to the topoisomerase second type. There are 2 topoisomerase, first and second. In the first, the enzymes cut at the only one strand. In the second, both the strands are broken. Both the strands are broken, and they will remove. They will cut and they will remove the stress, and then joins. And this provides the energy. By hydrolysis of ATP. Girage enzyme. Girage enzyme relax supercoiling. I have told you, relax supercoiling. By this way, after a few minutes, you will see here that this is 3 to 5, this is 5 to 3. Suppose right now, primase enzyme synthesize RNA primer, DNA polymerase moving continuously, primase enzyme synthesize RNA primer, DNA polymerase synthesizes, Till now, this is helicase enzyme, moves forward. Then what happens? You hear the Okazaki fragment, and this fork has already moved up to this level. This is open, but there is always a continuous movement, because movement is from 5 to 3. Polymerization starts from 5 to 3. There is no hindrance, but there is hindrance. Again polymerase is synthesized, primase enzyme synthesizes RNA primers. So in the leading strand, only one RNA primer is synthesized. Single RNA primer will lead to the continuous DNA replication. But at the lagging strand, it is lagging strand, many of the primers are to be synthesized. Again RNA primers, DNA polymerase will synthesize till now. Next step, this helicase enzyme will move up to at this level, but this will synthesize continuously. And again there is the primer will be synthesized, and primer will activate DNA polymerase. You will find this simple structure. There is in the fragment, there are fragments are created, but it is a continuous. One DNA strand is created with the leading strand, but lagging strand, it is called Okazaki fragment. This type of sketch diagram has been given in the many of the books, but you remember that. What I will tell you, DNA polymerase, they move simultaneously. I have told you the structure of DNA: alpha, epsilon, theta, alpha, epsilon, theta. This is tau, this is tau, this is beta clamp. This is 5 different enzymes I have told you. But many of the books, this structure has been sketched. Polymerase is here, how it is possible? I tell you, these two dimers, alpha is the main enzyme. These two dimers, they are present together. They move together. Then this is the main replication system. Mechanism is more complex as described here. It is more complex. How it is possible? You see here, this is DNA replication, this is the strand, DNA strand. I tell you like that, 3 to 5, 3 to 5, and 5 to 3, 5 to 3, 3 to 5 is leading, and 5 to 3 is lagging. Is lagging. How it happens? You see here, this is the primase enzymes, RNA primers, DNA polymerase will move and synthesize. First of all, the synthesis of the new strand starts on the template of leading strand up to 1000 to 2000 base pairs. Till now, the lagging means lagging behind. And after some time, after the synthesis of a small fragment of the leading strand, then the lagging synthesis of the lagging strand will start. How? There are 2 core enzymes. You see here, this is a clamp loader. This is a clamp, beta clamp. This is 3 to 5, this is 5 to 3. You see, like that. This is the beta clamp. This is the beta clamp. One, it is sliding clamp, sliding clamp. This is the sliding clamp. One strand is there and other strand is there. So one strand by beta clamp, another. I will tell you that how the two core enzyme, they are together, they are present together and they are synthesizing to both of the strands simultaneously. You see here. This is 5 to 3. Then primase enzyme synthesizes RNA primers. DNA polymerase will move. Also DNA polymerase will move, and this DNA polymerase will synthesize like that. Okazaki effect. After that, up to this now, helicase enzyme will be present on the lagging strand. Always helicase and lagging strand always. Lagging strand, it will move forward, then it will be open like that up to till now, and this is the lagging strand. Lagging strand. Now DNA polymerase has synthesized. This is the beta clamp. DNA polymerase core enzyme has synthesized already up till now. Has synthesized till now. This is the position. This is already synthesized till now. This fragment has been synthesized on the lagging strand towards this direction, because this is the 5 and this is the 3, and always polymerization from 5 to 3. So this 5 to 3 has already been synthesized. Then what happens? This will move like that. Beta clamp. This has been synthesized already. This has been synthesized already. Now the fork has moved at this level. This has opened. This is the level. You see here. This is the level. Up to this level it has been synthesized. Lagging strand has already synthesized this level. Then lagging strand will move like this direction. And now the primase enzyme, RNA primers, and again DNA polymerase 2 core enzymes, one core enzyme for leading, one core enzyme for lagging. I will tell you how the two core enzymes, one for leading, other for lagging, they are present together. There is no dissociation of these two core enzymes, and they work together. They synthesize the new strand together, but in the opposite direction. Both the strand will be separated from 5 to 3, but it is very difficult to synthesize in the lagging strand. You see here, once it is synthesized, then this clamp loader will join at this position. Then this portion will again synthesized. Again up to this level, again clamp loader will attached with. Then association and dissociation. This clamp loader, clamp slider. There is a need of association and dissociation, attachment and detachment. Both will work intermittently. Attachment is there, but so there is a need of this gamma complex. They will control the attachment and detachment. Once it opens and attached with the strand, after some time it will be detached and the new position will be attached. So this beta clamp has synthesized क्योंकि this will go forward and this will go forward. So this will go forward like this up to this level. Again it will detached, beta clamp will detach this DNA, this portion, and it will be, this portion will be attached. Then there is a space for resynthesizes, a new strand synthesizing. There is a space for synthesis of the new strand. Again it will move and this will move for this. So this strand, leading strand will synthesize, will go continuously, and this will discontinue. These are Okazaki fragment. Okazaki. One thing, after the synthesis of one Okazaki fragment, DNA polymerase first. Remove primers and synthesizes new DNA fragment. New DNA fragment. These primers, they are the RNA primers. 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 Then RNA primers, they are removed by DNA polymerase first. So DNA polymerase first has exonuclease. So RNA primers, always remember that. RNA primers are removed by 5 to 3 exonuclease activity. I have told you, DNA polymerase first has 3 activity: 5 to 3 polymerization, 3 to 5 exonuclease, and 5 to 3 exonuclease. I have told you this exonuclease for proofreading and correction of the 1 or 2 nitrogen bases. DNA polymerase first has 3 activities: 5 to 3 polymerization. 3 to polymerization means कि small fragment RNA primers removed, and at that place new strand is synthesized, new fragment of the DNA is synthesized for replacement of the RNA primer. 5 to 3 polymerization, 3 to 5 exonuclease, proofreading. This will digest, this will remove only 1 or 2 nitrogen bases if there is mismatch. 5 to 3 exonuclease, it remove RNA primer. RNA primers are removed and synthesized. 5 to 3, 5 to 3. RNA primers are here. RNA primers on the lagging strand. Many of the RNA primers are there, but one by one, it will not be removed at once. When another Okazaki fragment is going to be synthesized, RNA primer removed, and it will be filled up by the polymerization of DNA polymerase first. So DNA polymerase third is the main enzyme. This is DNA polymerase third. This is DNA polymerase third. It is the main enzyme. But RNA primer, small fragment RNA primers are removed, and DNA polymerase first will fill up at this position. After that, ligase enzyme joins the nick between the Okazaki fragment and the fragment that is synthesized by DNA polymer. If there is any gap, it will be sealed by seals the gap using energy NADH. This is the elongation. I have told you initiation. In the initiation, First point is DNA A protein binds DNA A 3 mer of this 9 mer of the DNA A, 9 mer repeats, and 13 mer. 13 mer there will be melting of the 13 mer because it is AT rich. I have told you it also regulates GATC, regulates the DNA replication due to methylation of the adenine. If both of the strands of the adenine are methylated, it will go on for replication. If only one strand is methylated, other is not, it will inhibit, it will check, it will not go for the replication unless it is methylated, both the strands are methylated. It is called regulation of DNA replication. So initiation means attachment of the DNA A with the DNA A box, melting of the origin point, forks are generated, loading of the DNA B helicase enzyme on the lagging strand with the help of DNA C. SSP, single strand binding protein, binds the both of the strands so that make it single stranded. Primase enzyme synthesize RNA primers, and there is presence of the DNA polymerase at the 3OH end. Till now it is known as initiation. Elongation means movement of the DNA polymerase third. DNA polymerase third from 5 to 3 direction. Attachment of the lagging strand is differently because there are two core enzymes. One is synthesizes leading strand, other is synthesizes lagging strand, and both they are present together. So there is a complex situation like that. This clamp slider is controlled by this clamp slider of the lagging strand is controlled by the 5 proteins: delta, delta prime, psi, chi, and gamma. It is 5 proteins, they are known as gamma complex. This gamma complex control the clamp slider for attachment, detachment. Because the leading strand, once it is attached, it will work till the synthesis is complete of the leading strand. So leading strand synthesized continuously, the lagging strand synthesized discontinuously. It is elongation, and in between the RNA primers will be digested, will be removed by DNA polymerase first, and at that place again the small fragment 10 to 15 base pair, it will be filled up by the DNA polymerase first, and the ligase enzyme seals the gap. Next, last topic is termination of DNA replication. I have told you that there is a bidirectional DNA replication. Replication moves to this direction as well to this direction. Naturally, they will meet at this position. This is the terminal portion. Because once it is replicated, the replication is complete. But how the DNA replication is terminated? There are terminus sequences. Many type of the terminus sequences are there, but 7 terminus sequences are known in Escherichia coli. They have been identified. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. They are the TER sequences. And there is a TUS protein, terminus utilization substance. TUS proteins TUS protein binds the TER sequences. TUS protein binds the TER sequences. What is the merit of this TER and TUS sequence attachment? If the helicase enzyme, it controls the helicase enzyme only. Helicase is moving from here, helicase is moving from here. Helicase, the action is, function of helicase is melting the hydrogen bonds, opening the two strands. Helicase enzyme which moves in the right direction, it will allow. But these sequences will not allow the helicase from, because this direction is right direction. This direction is right direction. But at this point, if helicase enzyme moves, this TER and TUS combination will not allow to any helicase to move to the other direction. So it is terminated. Termination means to check the, termination means to check the movement of helicase. That is termination. To check the movement of helicase. DNA, I have told you DNA, this is DNA. Helicase enzyme, it moves and it opens the strand and synthesis is going on. This TER and TUS bind at this position, the helicase will allow the helicase from this direction. This combination of TER and TUS will allow the helicase from this direction. But up from this point, helicase can't move. From this direction, helicase can't move because this combination will not allow any protein to move upward. Any to move at this direction. This is the termination of the DNA replication. It is all about DNA replication in prokaryotes. I will try to develop the DNA replication in eukaryotes, and the difference between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes is the different proteins are there in the eukaryotes as compared with the prokaryotes. There are DNA polymerase first, second, third. First and third is important. There are 5 DNA polymerases are known in prokaryotes: first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Only first and second they participate in DNA replication. Others are the repair enzyme. In the eukaryotes there is the alpha, beta, delta, epsilon. So alpha is the actually primase, delta is for leading strand, epsilon for leading strand, and delta for lagging strand. For leading and lagging, different DNA polymerases are there in eukaryote system. In eukaryotes, enzymes are different, mechanism is the same. There are 2 strand leading and lagging, it is same. Helicase enzyme is there, and in the eukaryotes, garage will be there, but in name of the enzymes, different enzymes are there. This is all about DNA replication in prokaryotes.